Good morning, everybody. My name is Chef Spencer. This is my wife, Emily. We are Silver Spork Events and Catering. Today we are going to be making for you a winter squash and brown butter sage Bucatini pasta. So let's get started. First, I want to get my 8 quart of boiling water going, and you want to season this pretty well with salt. For this is going to season the pasta pretty nicely. So don't be shy with that.
So you'll need a little less salt later because you salt the pasta.
A little
water?
less salt later, yeah.
Cool.
Then you can hand me the butternut squash and I'll show you how to.
Great. There we go.
So we got these from?
These are from Foothill Roots up in Meadow Vista. So for this recipe, we call it a winter squash bucatini because you could do butternut squash, you could do a mix of acorn or butternut squash, really anything you have in your kitchen and available.
And I usually like to get a half sheet tray just so it makes the mess a little easier to clean. And this is how I start. I start from the bottom of the squash. And then once you have that, you can just go straight up. Pretty easy. And this is one of our favorite pastas to make at home. I love it.
Nice, cozy winter night kind of pasta. So when we're cutting these, we're going to cut them up into little small dice size, right?
Yes, indeed.
Easier to cook.
So once you got that, and don't worry about doing the top or bottom too much because we're just going to cut that off. I'll give these guys to you as well.
Great.
And usually the seeds will be on the bottom half, so we'll just cut this guy down like that. And for this dish, we're just going to be using the top, so these we can reserve for a soup later.
Great.
If you want to do that. But you want to try to make nice small sheets that you can go back and dice later. Don't worry about cutting the end off. We don't want to cut our fingers off, so we can use that for the soup too.
Great.
For later. So from here, I like to do little matchstick sizes. And I won't cut all this, but I'll just give you an idea of. I'll give you that too. Thank you. We'll do a little brunoise, about like a little smaller than a small dice, but this is going to be easy to cook in your pan and brown with the onions. It'll just cook a lot quicker, and this means you do not have to roast your squash right away. So we're going to go ahead and heat up our saute pan to like medium-high heat.
So by this point, our pasta water is boiling, so we can add in our bucatini. We're going to do 12 ounces of bucatini.
Bucatini is, it's like spaghetti, but there's a little hole through the entire noodle, so that's going to soak up a lot of sauce, everything, and that's going to be nice and delicious. So we can add that to the water.
Great.
And we're going to want to cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes. You always want to check the pasta. You want to make sure it's not overcooked. I like it a little al dente. So
you can put it in this way with it coming out, and then it'll just soften into the water.
So here we are. We're just going to add
8 to 10 tablespoons to the pan.
So we go about like that. Let this melt. And I like to add a little oil in there too so the butter won't burn. Just a little bit. And we'll let this get nice and hot.
Onions.
While this is heating up, I'd like to go ahead and thank Pam and Zane for letting us shoot this cooking video at their winery, PaZa Winery, here in Auburn, California.
So we're letting this kind of melt down into the water. Make sure we give it a nice stir.
Our noodles are working.
Great.
You're gonna set a little timer for like 8 minutes.
Perfect.
Put that over there. And now we have our butter's melted. We're gonna go ahead and add our butternut squash and our onions and sage. And we want to cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes to get a nice caramelization on it. And we will like check for doneness around that time, but
We add the sprigs of thyme in there whole, so they give it that flavor, but then as we're cooking the pasta later, you're gonna take those sprigs out.
we're just going to stir this occasionally, but you know what, I think we're gonna go a little crazy too. We're gonna add a little lemon zest to this to give it a nice acidic, like a little bit of acidity in the dish. This will just brighten up the dish in the long run, a little later. So we'll just do that. And we'll save this lemon for squeezing a little bit later. Get that right there.
So really we just kind of wait for this to cook down. What are we looking for? When is it done?
We're looking for a nice caramelization, so I mean everything's going to be nice and caramelized, and we'll be good.
So the onions will be kind of browned and...
Yeah. You just want a nice little color on there.
Cool.
All right, let's check these noodles.
Right. That is looking good.
And this, we are cooking a winter like bucatini, but if we were in the summer, you could definitely switch out the butternut squash, and we could use a zucchini or some other type of like zebra squash. But this is an easy meal to make for like the family or friends. Nice glass of wine. Yeah, at the table. Just
So while this is going, we'll prep out the rest of the stuff to put in later.
Yep.
Right. So we'll do our garlic.
So we're going to take garlic.
And parsley.
So we're going to do about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. I'm going to add this over here.
I'm going to do a little bunch of parsley. That should be about 2 tablespoons once it's chopped. And we've got our oregano too.
Nothing fancy. We're just going to smash this to get it off the husk.
Yeah, so easy to smash it, and then it's much easier to peel once you crush it a little bit.
We'll just take the peels out like that. Oh, thank you. So now we can see our butternut squash and onions are getting a little, I'm going to give you that one too, a little color. So this is a good time that we can add the garlic. So we're just going to slice nice and thin. Watch your fingers, and then we'll just pass through a couple times to get it nice and chopped.
Perfect. And then you could use a garlic mincer for this too if you wanted to, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a little easier.
And then we're going to go ahead and add this. Get all that goodness. And then we can go ahead and cut the parsley. I like to fold it over like that. And take your time with this. You don't need to rush. Watch your fingers. The last thing we want is a bloody mess when you're cooking for your friends at home. It's happened to me many times.
Definitely don't want that.
And then the ends of the parsley, we can save this for a soup as well. So we'll just put this over here. Thank you.
It smells so good.
Now we're getting some nice caramelization.
Starting to brown a little bit. Ooh, steamy.
Yeah, we're almost there. So once the pasta is ready, we can go ahead and we'll strain it out. I think we have a couple minutes.
2 minutes left on the pasta. Oh,
Noodles.
so when do we start the sauce?
We could start the sauce once the pasta is going. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. We'll start the sauce right now. So on medium to high heat again, you can heat up another burner, and then I think I have that spoon somewhere.
Pot. Yep.
Perfect.
We're gonna add the remainder of the butter.
And you want to do about 6 to 8 tablespoons of butter, like a quarter stick of butter. And you want to watch the butter so it doesn't burn, but we can let this melt, and then after that, then we'll throw in the sage.
Cool. And then this we don't have to chop, we're just throwing it in whole.
Yep, we're throwing that in whole to get nice crispy leaves.
Sounds good.
How does it smell?
Delicious.
Delicious. Check these noodles. They're looking like they're almost done. It's been about almost 8 minutes.
Yep, a little less than a minute left on the
You
timer.
want to try that one?
Sure. Almost done. Still a little,
Maybe a couple minutes.
little crunchy. Which we do want these to be al dente because we are going to put them in the pan afterwards. So you don't want them to be completely soft. So more on the al dente side.
And once you find that you're getting good color on your butternut squash and onions, you can turn down the heat a little bit so it doesn't burn. But yeah, this is starting to look nice.
Smells delicious. Good on. Want me to add the sage?
Yeah, you can add the sage right now.
Okay. I'm going to add in those
Perfect.
whole leaves. And 8 minutes is done for the pasta.
Nice.
I'm going to test out this.
And you want to keep an eye on the butter. Once it starts like bubbling up and then you see a little bit of color,
Right here.
we are going to, thank you, we're going to turn the heat off the butter. But let's try this. Pasta is perfect. Okay.
Cool. So before we strain it, we're going to take the 1/4 cup of pasta water.
Yeah, do you want to hand me a
Let
ladle?
grab that ladle. Oh, what's that doing there?
Oh my.
And there's your ladle.
Perfect.
Great.
And then we're going to reserve about a 1/4 cup of pasta water because this is going to really bring the sauce together, the pan sauce that we're making. So that should be perfect. We can deglaze a little bit right now. We'll put that to the side.
Strain it.
Yeah, if you want to strain the pasta for me.
Great.
Thank you. Our butter is working. You can see that it's bubbling nice. So maybe give that 1 more minute and then we'll turn that off. And the deglazing of the pan is really going to bring out the sugars of the caramelization. Sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's looking nice.
Looks good. So how do you know once it's browned?
Once it's brown, it'll be rapidly bubbling like that. And then once you see a little bit of brown, then that's when you're going to turn it off the heat.
Okay.
So it usually takes about like 3 to 4 minutes. Sweet.
Pasta in.
Yeah, pasta in. Thank you. So we're going to put the pasta in. We're also going to add some parsley, chopped herbs that we did.
So it's the parsley, oregano, and then chopped sage as well.
And then we can add the water in right now too, and just let it kind of reduce.
A little more than a quarter.
Sweet. So our butter is perfect right now. So you can see the sage is getting nice and crispy.
Yum.
So we're just going to stir this together. This is a nice rustic Italian pasta. Super easy to make.
Yum. Can't wait.
We're going to add a little bit of Parmesan in here as well. So don't be shy with this.
And then a squeeze of lemon too, right?
Yep, so you can cut that up for me.
So we're going to do a whole lemon, so we'll cut that in half. You can do this by hand or use a little press. Lemon in.
Yep, squeeze it in there. You can do the whole lemon.
Yeah.
And these were picked off
there's
Pam and
half.
Jane's tree right before we started doing all this, so this is super fresh. Meyer lemon. Sweet.
And the parsley in there is from Natural Trading Company.
We're gonna add our brown butter
Please.
and the sage on the top of that.
Yum.
A little more parsley.
More parm.
I think we're good on parm. I think we're gonna plate this up. We are ready.
Perfect. Are these just gonna go on red pepper flakes on top,
Well,
or
you can
mixed
throw
in?
that. You can actually.
So then,
throw
if you
this
want to
in.
add a little bit of spice to it, we'll add the red pepper flakes. And this is just a taste, so it just depends on how much of a kick you want it to have. It goes great with the lemony flavor.
And
we'll go ahead
that
and
is
plate
it.
up. Alright,
Perfect.
onto the plate.
Just put the plate right here.
Yum.
And you can just put a hot pad on a table if you want to just put this straight on and serve it family style for everyone
Just
around the table.
themselves. Yeah.
Or we'll get a little bit of that. We'll throw that thyme stem in there, but we'll put a little more
Yum.
that on top. And then we'll add a little more cheese.
Parm.
A little more herbs.
So we have our completed dish here. It's our winter squash and sage bucatini pasta. We have it paired with our PaZa Primitivo wine. So we're ready for dinner. We are Silver Spork Events and Catering. You can find us on Instagram at Silver Spork Events, and our website is silversporkevents.com. And then Facebook as well at Silver Spork Events. All right, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.